The next data structure that we're going to look at is list. And lists can be very powerful in that they can contain data that is of a variety of different types. And there are a variety of different operations that we can also do on lists. Whenever we're using a list, here we have one list A that has values 1, 2, 3, which is a string, 4, which is a string, and then 5, which is a float. We can parse that list in a variety of different ways. If we just print out the entire array, we can do that by just listing the value of the list, or the name of the list, A in this case. If we want to provide the first value of the list, that's index starting at 0, we can do that by specifying a 0. If we want a range of 0 to 3, we can do that here. You always specify the start and the end of the list that you're interested in parsing. Next, if we want to list the second value to the end of the list, we can do that here. So here we're specifying A, and it will list out the second value that's numbered at starting at 0, so it's the 3 in this case, all the way to the end of the list. By indicating a -1, we can print the last value of a list, and -2 will print up till the second to last value. So specifying those lists and slicing those lists to get the specific values that you want will take some getting used to. In addition, lists can be nested so that you can have one list that is made up of another list or multiple other lists. In this case, we have two lists, A and B. And those lists, A and list B, are contained within list C. We can, as in we did with A and B, just specify C, and we'll get the value with two lists in it. Here you can see we have list 1 is listed as the first element of list C, and list B is listed as the second element of list C. We can also specify the first list by specifying a 0, or the first value of list C, as well as the first element of the first list by passing two values here, the first referring to element C. So we want, in this case, index 1, which is the second element, so this is list B, and then the first element of list B, which is a 6. So lists can be nested, and we can use multiple specifications when calling that list to get the specific slice of the list or nested list that we want. In addition, lists can be added with the append method or assigned directly to a specific location on the list. There are a lot of different functions that you can do on list, including pop, insert, and others. Here, if we take a look at the Python documentation, you can see that append adds the list item to the end of the list. This is really useful if you want to add one item. If you're extending by multiple values, that's where extend comes in handy. So you can add multiple values using extend. If it's just one value, use append. Here you're passing a value, here you're passing a list. You can insert a value within the center of the list using assert. You can similarly remove a value from any point in the list using remove. So those are just a few of the different operations that you can do on a list and the different types of outcomes that are provided. One thing to pay attention to when working with lists is assigning of values. If you want to create a copy of the list, you actually have to do list A equals list B dot copy. And what this will do is it'll actually create a copy of the list. And we can see that here with a little bit of complexity, where we've the alternate method of doing copy or adding these range value with just a colon in it that provides an entire value of the list. So here in this example, we can see that if we have set list A equal to list B, there's actually just one value to list A. And if we add something, or here in this case, remove something with pop removes a value, it will remove it from both. Here we created a copy, and here we also created a copy. And in those cases, when we removed a value, it was just removed from one of the different lists. So this has to do with how Python internally handles the creation of a new variable versus assigning to kind of a single point in memory. And in this case, it is referring to the same point in memory. In these cases, it's creating a new variable. So let's go ahead and do an exercise on lists. The first thing we're going to do is create a list with the following values: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create a new list, elist2, by first creating a copy of elist1 and then reversing the order. You'll have to look up a function. There's some useful functions here to be able to reverse the order. We then want to create a new list, elist3, by creating a copy of elist1 and adding 7, 8, 9 to the end. Remember, if you're pending, that's great with one value, but you might need to search for a different function to add multiple values to a list. Creating a new list, elist4, by first creating a copy of elist3 and then inserting 6 between 5 and 7. So go ahead and do that now, and we'll see you in a little bit.